SGA versus the Joker. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus Nikola Jokic. They essentially exchanged blows over the weekend where SGA gets the best of them on Sunday, and then they play right away, and Jokic puts up just an incredible game, and all of a sudden it's that debate. Who is going to be the MVP in the NBA? And look, I mean, you look at the comparisons between the two. It's very, very close. But you know, I'll bring my facts to the fight. I'm going to make my case for both of them. And I'm going to tell you who I think should win in the very end. I'll make the case for SGA. I'll make the case for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Thunder are 54-10, best record in the NBA. And your top four on both ends, best efficiency differential, highest adjusted net rating of any team since the 96 Bulls. They have the largest average margin of victory in, wait for it, NBA history. That's how good this Thunder has been this season. That's how dominant they've been against their opponents. And you have to say, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the biggest reason why. So when you're the biggest reason why a team is putting up historic numbers, we just mentioned them with the 96 Bulls, then you have to give heavy conversation to them because the numbers, they're eye-popping. 32.9 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, 6.2 assists, 1.8 steals on 52.5% shooting and 37.2% shooting from beyond the arc. That is a true shooting percentage of 64.3%. The only other players in NBA history that have put up a true shooting percentage of 64.3% with that level of production are Michael Jeffrey Jordan and James Harden. So it's rare air from not just a scoring standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint. Love Kobe Bryant, favorite player of all time. He never came close to this level of efficiency to match with his scoring numbers that we've seen from SGA this season. And then you look at how the Thunder are beating their teams. I mean, and how dominant this offense is. 1.11 points per possession with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the pick and roll, and 1.08 points per possession with him in isolation, and 113 points per possession as a post-up. So all of those combined are top five. So when he has the ball in pick and roll, when he's posting up, when he's in isolation, it's a top either one or in the top five. So that shows you value. And then you look at the Thunder's average 123.7 points per 100. That's right there with the Cavs for the best in the league. And then you look at the fact that not only have the Thunder been a great team, like if you watch any Thunder games, like they're not interesting. You better watch in the first quarter when it's 0-0 because it's not going to be close. They are blowing the brakes off these teams this season. This year, the Thunder are 16.8 points per 100 possessions above their opponent when SJ's on the court. And a lot of that has to do with the defense as well. He's playing great defense. Even though he doesn't guard the team's best player, he does what he's supposed to do. And I think that's what's great with that team. You got Williams and Caruso and Wallace and Dort. They can guard the other team's best player. He can still do what he needs to do and then provide all the firepower on offense. And look, he's 11th in steals. He's second in steals, 11th in deflections. His opponents are shooting 43.2% from the field against him. That's top 20. So you can't say that he's just an offensive player. He still is contributing on the defensive end. So that is my case for SGA. Best player on the best team in basketball, but being the biggest reason why that team is a historically dominant team. But here's the case for Jokic. And the case for Jokic is very, very intriguing as well. So he's on pace to be the third player ever to average a triple-double. 28.8 points per game, 12.9 rebounds, 10.5 assists, 1.8 steals. And I love me some Russell Westbrook. J-Rob can never make me hate Russell Westbrook as much as he tries. Okay? You can't do it. I'll never hate Russell Westbrook. But the difference between Jokic and Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robinson is Joker is doing this triple-double while shooting 57.4% from the field. He's shooting 43% from beyond the arc, 80.6% from the free throw line. So his true shooting is 66%. That's better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then you look at the other levels of dominance. There's only been 2 players in NBA history that have scored as efficiently as Joker has with those numbers. Charles Barkley in 88 and the year that Steph Curry won the unanimous MVP. Only Trae Young has created more points via assists than Joker this season. Think about that. I'm not talking about a point guard. I'm talking about a big man. And only Trae Young has created more points via assists than Joker this season. He has generated 66.1 points per 36 minutes. That's 14 more than SGA this season. So he's first in the NBA in touches. He's first in the NBA in front court touches. And why is that? Because Denver is a lottery team without Joker. The Thunder are a playoff team without SGA. The Denver Nuggets might have the worst record, or at least be in the conversation for worst record in the sport without Joker. The Nuggets, they go from scoring 128.4 points per 100 with Joker on the court to 103.8 per 100 with him off the court. They are 23.6 points per 100 better when Joker's on the court. That is the largest on-court, off-court split of any player in the NBA. It's not even close. SGA's on-off court splits are 11.3. So 11.3 to 23.6. So I know I threw a lot of numbers at you. Trust me, I do. But I think that the numbers will tell you that Joker, when you look at PER and things like that, he's on top of him. But SGA, he's got win shares and he's got a lot of advanced stats that favor him. But I think that for me, it's close enough. It's close enough where if SGA wins the MVP over Joker, I'm not going to flip tables over and go crazy and lose my mind. This is a deserving MVP campaign for SGA. From an efficiency standpoint, his MVP this year is a better season than Russell Westbrook's triple-double season in 2016 and 2017. I didn't even want to say that. I didn't want to say that, but it is. That's how good it's been. And he wouldn't be the first player to not be the best player in the league and win the MVP. Derrick Rose wasn't even a top 5 player that year to win the MVP. Let's just call it what it is. LeBron was light years better than Derrick Rose. Dwight Howard was better than Derrick Rose that year. Kobe Bryant was better than Derrick Rose. Hell, I might even say Kevin Love was better. I know it sounds crazy, and I love Derrick Rose. I mean, hey, ask your girl. Have your girl ask you, what was it like for prime Derrick Rose? I get it. Like, he puts you in the fields, but I think that it's not over. It's not over. Right now, if you look at the odds for the MVP, SJ's at minus 600. Joker's at plus 425. I think that the Joker is still the best player in the sport. I think he deserves to win the MVP. He would get my vote. But I think that if you're going to vote for SGA, I'm okay with it. But J-Rob, what's the biggest reason why you have Joker or SGA winning the MVP?
Both guys very much deserving. I'm gonna lean towards SGA. You made a point about the Oklahoma City Thunder being a playoff team without SGA. I actually think they'd be closer to being a play-in team instead of a playoff team, because SGA, I think people forget, the Oklahoma City Thunder were the second youngest team in the NBA a season ago and were the first seed in the West. And that engine is because they have their best player is a 26-year-old guard who, I mean, even if he's not shooting great, you can't stop him from getting to the line. He's going to play defense on the other end. He's been like this catalyst in Oklahoma City. And I thought when you said they're winning because of him was like spot on. And ultimately, yeah, they're number one in all these defensive categories. But if you removed SGA from this team, do you think they'd be such a great three-point shooting team? Will they still be able to generate the same level of offense? I think people fail to realize, like, SGA, because of his ability to score, distribute, play defense, just an offensive juggernaut, he takes so much stress off his teammates. That's why they actually worry me in the playoffs, because I think a guy like Jalen Williams, he's going to be demanded more in the playoffs. And I don't know what he's going to look like having to do that in a high pressure situation. Now, Jokic, he's probably going to average a triple-double this year. I think he is, if he wins MVP, he deserves it. I think both guys flat out deserve. I don't think I can remember over the last 2 years the two first and second place finishers in the MVP being so much of a coin flip that, like, D-Mac, if whoever wins it, I really can't be mad either way.
I almost
it's so close.
I want to hate on SGA. Like I'm that guy. I wake up. I got my alarm set early in the morning, so extra time to hate. You know what I'm saying? I can't hate SGA. Like, he is that good. Having said that, though, if Joker doesn't win the MVP, it's going to go down as probably the best individual season for a player. When you look at the advanced stuff, when you look at the impact, when you look at a lot of the numbers that any team has ever had, and that kind of worries that any player's ever had. That kind of worries me. Is like, hey, like the NBA should be the league. Like, Major League Baseball is kind of seen as like this old-fashioned league. They're kind of late to evolve, which is totally true. I mean, they were late on the pitch clock, late on the umpires being able to review and all that stuff in the ABS system. But one thing that Major League Baseball, I think, is good at is picking their MVPs, where it's, okay, who's just the best player? Like, Ohtani was winning unanimous MVPs in the dumpster fire that is the Angels. Right. Whereas the NBA, I think I hate about the NBA is like, okay, let's always get the best player on the best team. It's not always that, right? It's not always that. I mean, we've seen, Russ, they were a 6 seed.
They were like, what, the 6 seed,
They were a 6 seed, and that team they were like, come on, man, like LA Fitness ballers.
No, yeah, they overachieved.
They're like LA Fitness ballers around him. Like, he was surrounded by butter knives, but yeah.
Facts. I was going to say, to Russ's credit, I still say that was one of the by far greatest seasons in the history of the sport. Like, in the history of the sport, I still give Russ that credit. No question. It was
especially coming off KD going and doing what he did. But
exactly, the context to it too, for sure.
I think the cool thing about this, though, is it's not over. Like, it really isn't. Like I don't think that the Nuggets are going to be able to catch the Thunder. I mean, that's unrealistic. But if you hold on to that 2 seed, let's just see how this thing plays out. I want an MVP race. Race. But switching to the finish. Like that's what you want, right? I mean, like, if I'm SGA too, it's like, I mean, they got to think about, hey, like, the Nuggets have won their championship.
Yeah.
The Thunder, they've disappointed in the playoffs.
Can I ask you this question about SGA in Oklahoma City? Because of their clock being so accelerated, D-Mac, I mean, I think their window was amplified a season ago because of the emergence of SGA. Do you think this will be able to be sustained for another 2 to 3 seasons, just due to the fact that a lot of their players are so young, and with the way the money is moving in the NBA? How long do you think this window is really as open as you would assume it is in Oklahoma City?
It's kind of weird because, it's a great question, J-Rob. I think the answer to that is, like, barring health, Sam Presti is great at building a roster on the margins, and they stockpile those draft picks. I mean, the Paul George trade, that was a finesse job. I mean, that was a fleece, absolute great move by them. But then also, look at the Magic, man. Right. You thought that Magic team was going to be a dynasty, and then Penny's knee gives out. Shaq goes to the Lakers. So, I mean, sometimes there's these teams where it feels like they're destined for these long runs, and then all of a sudden an injury here, an injury there. But the Thunder have always been a really stable organization. They just really, really haven't.
I agree.
They got more pieces, but it's going to start. It starts and ends with, like, in the NBA, it's like, hey, like, do you have an elite player? It starts right there. You can't have the conversation of winning a championship without one. They have one. Yeah. And then it's about kind of accelerate, like Chet Holmgren taking the next step, and Williams, and look, Caruso was a nice piece added, but Dort is a dog. So but we'll see. They have a lot of questions, because I think that my other take on the Thunder is, for as good as they've looked in the regular season, the numbers back up their dominance. For a team that's had that much regular season success, that has an MVP, they're not a feared team. Like the Warriors, they probably would beat the Warriors, but I don't think the Warriors would, like, be that afraid of them. Like, they would feel like, with Jimmy and Draymond and Steph, like, we got to punch your chance. Lakers, LeBron, you're gonna beat LeBron.
Nobody's
Luka. They're gonna beat Luka. Luka owns the Thunder.
Yeah.
So but we'll see. It's gonna be exciting. Playoffs, March Madness. It's coming up.
It's coming up.